and it's preparing. Hello, welcome. Bojo, greetings. I am going to just wait a minute and let people kind of hop on and in, and welcome to the fun. And I don't know why that's going. Let me see what's going on here. Some crazy tech things. It seems to be like a Mercury retrograde-ish day, even though it's not Mercury in retrograde. So let's see here. There we go. Yes. So welcome to those of you in social media. I can't see you, but my assistant can. And welcome to those of you here with me in Zoom. This is so awesome. Happy International Women's Day 2021. I mean, every year it's important, but I think this year it's like really, really, really important. You know, like here we are now and things are starting to shift, and it's really amazing to see it. And now it's push time. So, welcome. Yes. So, I am probably going to get started in a minute. I'll just light up the sage first. I have sage here, desert and prairie sage from Drumheller, where my dad grew up. I'm so blessed with that. I'm so grateful to Nina Kasi, who is also one of the singers, one of the featured singers on my single that I'm going to sing for you all later. She sells these beautiful medicines in Toronto. So I, of course, had to stock up before I left Toronto to come to London. Mm-hmm. So virtual smudge, myself first, and then all of you. Well, and my drum, and my beautiful crystals, and ha. So virtual smudge for every one of you in the circle tonight, whether you're here live or later, even, and whether you're on the social media or if you're in Zoom with me or on our chat page, which I'm going to check in a moment too. Yeah. Okay. So, wow, I can feel the energy just kind of settling, and just like a lot of beautiful energy here. It's so beautiful. And I almost like, I'm just like want to sit here and enjoy this moment actually, because it does feel so good. And it's not just our circle, it's just all of this beautiful change happening around the world for women. That's really what I'm feeling. And everyone just tapping in and tuning into that today. So it feels beautiful. And yeah, I think I'm gonna put my chat page over here so I can't really read that, but whatever. I will see if there's any chat. Michelle, let me know if there's any chat going on in there, and I'll get to that. So yes, welcome, Bojo. Mishkekinagamani Queen Adishnakaz, Kokoko. I was almost going to say Toronto Dinjaba, which is saying I live in Toronto, but for me, but it's Deshkan Zibi is what my Dan and Mary Lou Smoke were telling me is what the original Anishinaabe name for London is, and that's where I am now, London, Ontario. So um, I'm Brenda McIntyre. That's my English name. Medicine Songwoman is my Indigenous name. And what I do is I flow healing energy and conscious music through me, so I can help women to find their voice and to build their resilience and to reawaken to who they really are and who they're becoming. So I'm also a Juno award-winning recording artist. I've been doing singing professionally for 36 years, and also facilitating workshops for about, and motivational speaking for about the last 20 years. And I'm just checking some sound settings here because somebody is, there we go, got it. Just making sure everyone's muted here. Okay. So I also wanted to say I'm going to share. I'm gonna share stories with you and songs with you tonight. I'll tell you exactly what that's going to look like in a moment. But first, I wanted to do a land acknowledgement. So I want to acknowledge that I am now blessed to live and work on the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, Lenape, and Attawandaron peoples on lands connected with the London Township and Sombra treaties of 1796 and the Dish with One Spoon Covenant Wampum that is also bound into Toronto as well. This land continues to be home to diverse Indigenous peoples, First Nations, Métis, and Inuit, who are contemporary stewards of this land and vital contributors to society. So what we're going to do today is let's get present with the shit first. We're going to do that. I said I would do that. I'm going to do that because, we can't move forward if we don't know what's there that we want to work on or what we want to shift. What do we need to know what we're dealing with, right? So, the grief, the trauma, that stuff that's been happening over the last year. So, and not just that, it's International Women's Day. We're talking about years and years and years, generations even, right? So that we can be present with it and eventually transcend and kind of just transmute that. So this is why too, that's why I'm doing this virtual retreat, is just to get present with it. We don't even need to try to change anything tonight. We don't have to do that. All you have to do, you just get to sit and bathe in this and be present with whatever shows up, and allow yourself, if you can, to have tears or to have those emotions and feel. We're going to feel and be real. That's what we're going to do tonight, because that's what it's going to take to make change. That's what we need now. So and that's really why I wanted to do this. So we're going to do a little bit of activity. Mostly it's going to be a medicine song healing circle, and I'll explain that when we get there. But we'll also be doing some breathing because I want to welcome. I'm gonna do a traditional. I guess it's not traditional. It's a contemporary welcome song because my songs come through spirit to me, and then I offer them and I share them. And I'm going to start with a welcome song after I go through this little kind of overview. And so I'll also do a performance, like I promised, of Together We Can Stand Up, my new single that I'm so in love with, and I know a lot of people really are enjoying. And I have an invitation for you too. We have a program called Picking Up the Pieces that is about, it's basically, I'll share more about this in a bit, but I made an album and music is so healing. And so and that's what I use music for. So I'll have an invitation for you to a resource that can help you take this all deeper for the next, basically for the next 3 full moons and 3 new moons. So I should reframe that. Starting spring equinox, starting then. So for the spring season. And for those of you in my Zoom with me I'm going to just thank you right now. I need to say a big, big thank you because without you, I would not be here in Deshkan CV in London. I would not be here. I would still be in Toronto struggling with the place that I was living in, which was not healthy for me. Now I'm in the beautiful new home. And I can't wait to show you all at some point, not tonight because we have boxes everywhere still, but I am so just really grateful for all of you for supporting me with the fundraiser that I did. It's still going. And so any of you that can contribute, it's still going. Maybe Michelle, if you can pop the link into the chat at some point, that would be cool. Because lots of expenses for moving, and the 3 big leaps that I did are huge leaps. So I'm here because of you, and I'm here so that I can expand more and do because I'm walking my talk, right? I'm expanding my own resilience and I'm expanding my business so that I can help more women. And that's why I needed to move. So thank you. And that's why you're here with me in this VIP Zoom lounge. And yeah, so I'm going to ask that if you're driving and watching this, probably not with it with Zoom these days, but I don't know. I always will just say, like, just, you know, drop everything, except the wheel if you're driving. If you're, you know, like, mute it or something if you don't want to pull off the road. Because when I sing these songs, sometimes you can go kind of deep, and I want you to have that experience for yourself. And I don't want you to be, you know, veering off the road. So, yeah. So safety first. You know, as we've come to learn. I'm going to sing, my welcome song is going to be Breath of Life. And it's a song that comes from this album, Picking Up the Pieces, which is also what that course is based on, these songs. This song is a really powerful one, and it's about breath. I needed this song for myself to breathe. I will share more about my story in a minute, but one thing that some of you may or may not know is that my son was murdered 5 years ago, and I am just out of the anniversary months for that. And what that did, like, it was very, you know, obviously very hard for me, and it still is. But what happened because of that is we had to have a murder trial, and it was incredibly awful to go through. And at the same time, so I made a plan for myself. One of the things I did was I spent a few months planning it out so that I would have support. Like, we have to do that for ourselves. And sometimes we forget, especially as women, we're like giving. Have to remember to ask for support and to find support and to use it. And so I did that for myself. And one of the things I did was apply for grants so that I could make an album during that time, which sounds crazy. And it probably was, but it kept me sane. And I knew it would help others later on. And that's why I did that. So the album is for grief and for trauma. And turns out, you know, it's perfect for COVID. I wouldn't have known that. The album came out September 2019. And here we are, you know. So Breath of Life, the reason I had to say all that is because Breath of Life is a song I needed to remind myself to breathe, because trauma stops us from breathing. We start tightening up our breathing. And so you might notice, if you pay attention to, and depends on how aware of your body you are, you'll notice that you might not be breathing as deeply as you used to before 2020 hit, right? And so it's important for us to come back to that breath, because that's what feeds us, right? It feeds us life. It is life. It's spirit as well. I know in Cayuga language for sure, and probably a lot of other ones, spirit and breath are the same language, the same word, and wind. Spirit and wind and breath are the same word, which is why we called our drum group Spirit Wind. when me and Zainab Amadahi started that group, like way up eons ago. Because our breath is important. So this song, Breath of Life, was to remind me to breathe. I knew I needed a song for that. And it's also a welcome song. And a welcome song is bringing in our ancestors, acknowledging all of our ancestors. And for me, acknowledging the spirits of space here, in this space here, where I haven't really done that yet. This is the first time I get to do that. I'm only here a few days now. So, what I want to do is offer this song for you, and whatever spirit, you know, I call it your higher realm support team, your ancestors, your guides, whatever it is for you, just acknowledging and having gratitude for them, but also reminding yourself to breathe. So when you hear me breathe, take a nice belly breath, and I want you to first breathe into your lungs and then let it sink down there into your belly. So let's just take a nice deep breath together right now. And just Bring in the calm, and even just one more. Just grounding ourselves and bringing ourselves into our bodies. And I'm going to sing Breath of Life for you. Ha, ha, we, ha, ya, hey, ya, ha, ya, we, ya, we, ya, we, ya, we, ya, we, ya, hey, ya. Away, hey, way, hey, away, hey, way, way, Yahweh, way, way, ya, hey, ya, ha, ya, we, ya, we, ya, we, ya, we, ya, we, ya, hey, ya, we, ya, hey, ya, we, ya, hey, ya. Away, hey, Yahweh, 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 Welcome, welcome. Okay, now I feel like I'm really here, and I'm noticing my drum needs a drink because London is a lot drier than in Toronto, which I'm actually really happy about because there's less humidity here, and that's one thing I didn't like so much about Toronto. So I'm gonna give my drum a drink of water while we sit here because this is this drum's first appearance, I guess, first time singing in this space. So it's really beautiful that you're all here to witness that. But that's also why my drum sounded so high pitched and a little bit tinny. So not full voice. My drum is not at full voice, which happens to us as women sometimes too, right? And that's kind of I know that's why that's happened because that just popped in my mind. And so sometimes when we have a lot of body awareness, we can get to know what our voice is like when it's really when you're at full voice. And that usually happens when you're in your passion. And I feel like a lot of you today, a lot of us are just, we're excited. It's International Women's Day. There's change coming. Change is already happening. And so when that's happening, your voice is going to have more power. And so if you can get yourself into that passion place more and more and more, you're going to have more power in your voice. Just saying. Little tip. All right. So Drum has a good drink there. And yeah, so I wanted to, I was going to bring up the shit. I was going to talk about the shit, the stuff that's happening, because we need to really, like I was saying earlier, we want to be present with whatever's going on. And a lot of times we just want to ignore it and pretend it's not happening, or we want things to get better and we kind of just want to focus on that. But if we just focus on that, it's not really helping anything. If we're in our bodies and just being here with whatever shows up as much as we can handle. And if you already have trauma and sometimes it's like too much, then turn down the tap or turn off the tap and you're done. You don't have to feel at 100% all the time. But we want to be able to feel. We want to be able to feel and not dismiss those feelings, right? We've been dismissed enough. Our feelings have been dismissed enough. So we need to be real and feel so that we can get through this. So I'll talk about a little about my story. So yes, I was saying I'm a Juno Award-winning singer. I've been singing for 36 years and all that good stuff. But what I haven't shared with all of you yet, because some of you don't know me, or don't know me as well, is that that whole thing about what I was just sharing with Breath of Life, that song. What happened with that album, like, making that album during a murder trial, like losing my son that way and all of that. Because he was just downtown Toronto, just minding his own business. They were just going to a party and his friend asked for directions and they asked the wrong person. And that's really what happened. And that is ongoing. The court is not even done for that yet. So it's an ongoing saga. But what happened for me was when I went and took that time to prepare for the unknowable, and I wrote a blog about this, you can go check out at some point. I don't know but it's on my blog, medicinesongwoman.com/blog. I learned how to plan for the unplannable. Like the unthinkable, you have no idea like what's happening. How can I plan for that possibly? And I had to, because I needed a plan for me. And it was mostly about self-care. So really what's happened here is my experience of going through the murder trial, losing my son before that, 5 years ago. The murder trial only ended in June 2019, and it's still actually in play because it's being disputed by the person convicted. And so that will go on. Anyways, it's this long thing, but what happened was I ended up planning so well that when this pandemic hit, I was like, oh, holy crap. Like, it's like that. Like I felt, it was a weird feeling because I was like, I'm not alone anymore. The world is actually feeling a microcosm of what I've been feeling all this time and experiencing and dealing with. And I'll tell you why. Because with something like that, it's not just like a natural loss. When you lose someone, I lost my dad to a heart attack a long time ago after I lost my mother to suicide when I was a teenager. When my dad died, that was a natural death. And then it's done. With murder, it's sometimes never done, right? And sometimes it is done, but it's not, for me, it's not done. There's still all these things happening. First, there's the media parade. That was actually how we found out. No, social media was how we found out. Then, then there's like press conferences with the police and all this stuff, the media like wanting to interview you and just seeing things, finding things out on the media. And it's just like re-traumatization over and over and over. And this is what we've been going through, and on a different scale with COVID. Is every now and then, here's another update. Here's another update. Oh, there's a new variant. All these things are happening, right? Oh, there's vaccines. Whoops, not anymore. Oh, you're going to have to wait now. Like all this stuff happening. And just like every time we feel like we have footing, there isn't footing anymore. And so what I've been telling my clients, one of the things that is dropping in right now and Spirit really is being loud about to tell you is to normally I would say like to ground yourself, like ground to the earth. But we need to ground within ourselves because Mother Earth is kind of busy right now. She's got a lot going on and she's not that grounded either right now. So we need to ground within ourselves. And it's like a lot of just loving ourselves up. And that's why I'm here doing this for you. So, so the shit, the anxiety, pandemic burnout, like what is it for you? And, feel free to drop it in the chat and just put it out there into the circle because we're going to deal with it. I'm not going to leave you in that. We're going to help you through this and leave you very uplifted at the end with the new single performance. But we're going to get you into a space where you can safely feel. And so, for those of you who are around a bunch of people, maybe you want to get in a private space or, check out the replay later and do it that way, because I want you to be able to really feel and just be present for yourself. This is why it really is a virtual retreat. So a constant unknown of whether or not my business will and can survive. Yeah, no kidding. A lot of us are feeling that. Let me see. I'm checking. I'm gonna just keep checking. Oh yeah, I had my Facebook chat on my phone. I was trying to do that anyways. I gotta turn my volume off just in case anything weird happens. But let me see if I can kind of change this here too. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know my Zoom settings, so I'll just leave it the way it is. So I wanted to check with and see what's happening there without it going. I don't think I can do that without it's saying stuff. So I'm seeing. Let me see over here. We're in alignment. Nice. Yeah. I'm not okay. So feel free to pop it in there, and you don't have to as well. But being restricted, not being able to travel, yes, to go see my family, yeah, that's really hard. What will the future look like for our children? Yeah, the need to recreate a way to make an income. So, overthinking and self-doubt, heart health and head health issues, anxiety, insomnia. Yes. Yeah, like let's just lay it out on the line, right? Like we can't ignore it. Here we are, right? We're in it. So might as well do the best that we can, right? And really just be with it. And that's like I've ever since I lost my son had to be with chronic pain. And I mean, I can sit here in my passion and I hardly feel any of it. And then at the end of this, I need to like stop, right? And I need to know my limits and just take care of myself in that process. But it's hard. So I'm just saying that's mine, one of mine. And then I also have CPTSD at this time because of losing my son. So anxiety and panic. Yeah. Yeah. So there's a lot that that people are going through, and it's unique to you, but in a way, global, because we're all going through something. Long haul COVID got you. Yeah. I may or may not have had that as well. I'm pretty sure I had COVID, but way before they knew what it was. So they didn't test me for it because there were no tests for it. And, months later, I was still feeling it in my lungs. And I don't know if that was from the mold in my apartment or from the COVID. So constant stress, so much fear. Yeah. And for me also, racism is another factor. That's been really, really hard to see. Like just that brings up a lot of stress and anxiety for sure. So when we can be here with all of this, just be here with it for a moment. Like whatever you see in the chat or whatever you just put in the chat or you're thinking to yourself, just be here with it for a moment. It's just imagine it's just sort of a thing in your energy field. It's just here. It's just here, but you're here and you're not that. You're here, right? So, yeah. So what it takes to get through a pandemic, we need to be aware of what's happening and be here for ourselves. We're really good at being here for each other, So you know what that means? You have a lot of sisters that can support you if you reach out and ask for help. That's what that means, right? And that's what I had to do. And believe me, it was hard. I was raised by a mother that actually taught me not to ask for anything. So it took me years into my 30s or maybe even 40s until I could actually ask for what I needed or wanted. And we need to remember to ask for that help, whatever it is. And sometimes it's going to come from spirit. Sometimes it's going to come from people. You know, sometimes it's a resource you'll just find. But ask. Remember to ask. Yeah, struggle with asking for help. It's hard. It's hard when we've been raised not to, and it's hard when we're really good at just giving out, and then we hope that it will come back to us. But no, we need to ask. We've got to ask. So I made the album to help people. That was what I did during the trial. I made that. So Breath of Life was one of those songs, and I made the album picking up the pieces because it for me was about picking up the pieces. But I was like, I just remember having this moment where I was looking down at the ground. I'm like, yeah, it's like pieces of me are on the ground. And, like after losing my son, in one of my songs, I talk about shattered into a million pieces, like that, the title track, picking up the pieces, because that's what it felt like. Everything was on the ground, and it's like, now what do I do? Who am I now? Like, what's happening? And that's kind of what's happening here with the pandemic. It's like, who am I now? Is maybe your business is not even your business anymore. Maybe it's done, or maybe it's completely had to rejig itself, or needs to still. But who am I now? And then really when I look at who am I becoming, I have to look at what are the pieces I'm carrying right now that I want to carry. What are the pieces I really need to just drop to the floor and let go? And what are the pieces maybe I'll drop to the floor, but I'm not going to carry now, but maybe I'll come back later for them, right? They're still going to be here. And then it's the pieces of me too. So, the pieces of you, like sometimes I'll ask myself, how old am I when I'm having a hard time? How old am I? And maybe it's my 5-year-old that is really wanting my attention. Maybe it's my 17-year-old. But I'll check in, like, what are those parts of me and the hurt parts of me, the physically hurt parts of me, and just love up yourself, all of those parts, and be present with them, even if it hurts. And if it hurts too much, like I was saying, because some of us, for myself, I know what my limits are. If you start having an anxiety attack, that's not good. So bring it down a notch. And we don't have to have the tap turned on full all the time. So this is why I created this course too. I was telling you I was going to invite you to something. I had an invitation for you, and I think we have 6 spots left, because I think I saw one go. I don't know if there's any more. I think we still, I think it's, I'm checking quickly. We have 6 spots left in the spring season of my program. And so it's called Picking Up the Pieces, because we're using the music. We're using the music because that's what it was made for. And it was accidentally designed for a pandemic, because that's how things roll with me, I guess, because Spirit knows that I want to help people. So there are 13 songs on the CD, on the album, and there are 13 moons, right? The 13 moon calendar. So it's a 13 moon program, and we go every full moon and every new moon we meet. Sometimes we do what we're going to do today, which is a medicine song healing circle. We'll do a little shorter version of that tonight, but and then other time that's for the new moon sessions, and then for the full moon we have teachings. And each of my songs, as you've noticed with Breath of Life, has its teachings, has its own teachings, and also its own activities. And it just sort of comes to me in the moment, to be honest. A lot of times for the classes, I'm just sitting there and the download drops in. I'm like, okay, that's what we're teaching about tonight. That's what's happening. It's pretty cool. So that's what I've been doing since last fall. Was Spirit gave me this. When I say Spirit, I'm talking about my guides, my higher realm support team gave me this, and it was a way for me to help myself again, have some fun, lighten up, but also go deep at the same time, and do that with a circle of women. And it's been so powerful so far. I love it every time. And we are a pretty intimate circle because not everyone can show up at every, for every class. So we're pretty intimate, and we wanted to keep it that way. I actually basically surveyed. I asked the group, and so we're keeping it small. So only more women can come in each season, right? Well, 7 each season, but one's already in for this one. So spring season is open today. And so you're all invited until those 6 more spots are filled. And right now, like, it's $125 for the entire, it's basically about 3 months. It's for the entire season of spring. And it's 3 new moons and 3 full moons. And yes, it's virtual, really. Yeah. It's because, COVID, but also because I like to do this. I've been doing this before COVID. I was doing webinars and things like that. So I love doing that because then women from all over can join. And I also vary the times because people are in different time zones. So you never know what might be good for one person might not be good for the other. So replays, of course, there are replays involved. And Michelle, can you pop it in the chat, and I'll put it in the Zoom chat if I can. Where did I put it here somewhere? Yeah, there we go. I'll put it into the Zoom chat too for you VIP party goers, VIP circle members. Yeah, so it's $125 usually, but right now it's $100. Like, $125 still a steal, and it is going to go up for the next round, like when I start it over again in the fall. But right now it's just $100 for early bird to join. So very easy, and there's a lot on the page, and I'll come back and talk a bit more about that later. But I want to get into being able to serve you here tonight. So let's take a breath. And let's take another one, and into your lungs and then into your belly. Yeah. And we're going to do the medicine song healing circle first. And then after that, we're going to come back, ground ourselves. I'll ground you back. That's what I always do. And what will happen in the circle while I'm doing this is my medicine song healing technique. It's something that came to me through spirit, like everything seems to. And that was in 2008. Ever since then, I've been offering private sessions, and also I just learned to do it virtually. It's already was virtual anyway. They told me, my guides told me, this is by distance. You don't need to do this in person. I've done it in person, but I don't need that. We're all in the circle together. And even if you are watching this as a replay, you are still in the circle and you're going to feel it. And it is for you. So, yeah, so get yourself comfy. I'm going to take a sip of water. You might want to do that as well. Giving gratitude for the water too. So it blesses our bodies. And so we're blessing that water. Yeah. So you might feel some things. When I do this, you might see visions. You might have visions of your own. You might have goosebumps or different kinds of sensations. Your body might even move all by itself. Just let things happen. It's all good. And and just let yourself be comfortable with being uncomfortable. I guess that's the way to say it. And if you knock out, if you fall asleep, don't even worry. You're still getting the full benefits, and you can always come watch the replay later. That's happened maybe twice so far, I think. And with my clients all the time. So it's just because you're going real deep, and it's all good. This is the part where I say again, no driving while you're doing this. No driving while you're listening to this. Yeah, I want you to be able to go deep. I want you to have that gift. So what we're gonna do first, I have my lovely little looping station here, my toy, my musical toy, that will give me a drum beat so that I can be hands free, because I also am going to be doing energy work for everyone here. If you don't want the energy work, it's not going to happen for you, because I only do it permission based. So if you want it, you just need to tell your guides and, just let it in. That's all you have to do, is have the intention to let it in. So I'm going to be doing a lot of singing, and I might pick up the drum. I might not. I might. It just it will go how it goes. But I'll let you know every step of the way what's happening. And there might be some sort of space for. I like to allow a little bit of space for your own visions to come through, because I am going to be speaking too, because I'm going to get visions and I'm going to tell you what they are. And usually we end up with some kind of a gift that's given to us from spirit. Some of your ancestors might show up, and if they do, awesome. Or your guides. I will just say what I see. I'll say what I see, feel, sense, and hear, and yeah. And I think that's about it. So I'm just checking here if anyone has any questions or anything like that. Whoops, over there. Okay. One more sip. Yeah. All right. No, I don't want. I want to be hands-free. Okay. So just take a nice deep breath and get yourself comfy, and just be present here. And I'm going to just bring in our drum beat in a second here. And my voice is going to have lots of reverb, or maybe Zoom won't have it. I don't know. Hey ya, hey ya, Yahweh ya. Hey ya, hey ya, way ya. Ah ya, away, away, hey ya. Away, away, And breathing, just making sure you're breathing into your belly, into your lungs first, feeding yourself with that essential breath and spirit. Yahweh, Yahweh, Yah. I, Yahweh, Yah. Yahweh, Yah, Yahweh, Yah. Hey, Yahweh, Yah. Yahweh, Yah, Yah. Yahweh, Yah. Yahweh, Yah. Yahweh, Yahweh. Aweya, 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 Yahweh, aweya. Breathing here. Ana, asiya, na na ya na ya na, awiya, away, away, anaya, anaweya, aweya, aweya, Yahweh, 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 Just breathing here, there's a lot of energy moving around and a lot of emotion coming up, and just allow it to come up. Allow it. Just allow that. And let it move where it needs to move. Let your body move how it wants to move, or stay still if it wants to stay still. Resourcing yourself with breath. I'm just going to ask who is here of my guides, and I know Bridget is here, Goddess Bridget is here, really, really overseeing and kind of protecting us and taking care of all of the women here, and I'm getting spirit tears from her. And just imagining anything that is ready to be released is just kind of like sediment in water, just falling slowly like little bits, little pieces, falling to the ground, through whatever floor your feet might be on, down, all the way down to the earth, where Mother Earth can just recycle that energy. I'm hearing the word uplift, which I saw earlier today, and feeling that too. It's about uplifting this energy that's coming in right now for us tonight, right here, is about uplifting. So even while it's like we can be on the floor in our tears and in our pain, and we are still being uplifted. We are still being uplifted. So allow yourself to feel the gravity that holds you to the earth, the gravity that supports your human body, and also feel that buoyancy, that lightness, that pulling up, being lifted, up, uplifted, 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 uplifted. And opening the crown, just allowing yourself to let in that beautiful white light that is coming down. It's always coming down for us, but right now especially we're about to have some very gentle love energy just coming in. Pink light that's going to just gently come into. It feels warm and tingly. It feels good. So just allowing that to come in. And I've never, ever in my entire healing career seen a rhinoceros, and I see one now. And that rhinoceros is about that strength that we all have as women. It is showing us, right? It's protecting us too. It's standing guard of our circle, but it's showing us. And I'm just asking if it's a he or she or a they. It is a they because there are so many of them, and they are the women. That fierceness, that power that they carry that's only used when it's needed, and always used in the most powerful, beautiful ways. And just allowing yourself to be here now in your body, and whatever you might be experiencing, seeing, feeling, sensing is all valid, no matter what I'm saying here. And I'm just feeling like we're getting filled up. Our vessels are being filled up with that beautiful light. And I am feeling the connection to my rose quartz crystal that is behind me, that is offering that. So just breathe it in, breathing in the love, and I'm being prompted to sing again. Breathe in the love. Breathe in the love. Breathe in the love. Breathing in the love and bringing out love through your breath as well. But first flowing it through, enjoying that sensation of that love flowing through you, imagining that your blood vessels are filling up with that love, that your very cells are filling up with that love, and just full of that beautiful pink light, love, life force energy, source energy, love. Reminding us all of who we are. And I'm seeing a dragon as well. There's some new people bring new guides and new spirits into the circle, and I love this. It's so beautiful. And that is also a woman. She is female. And I see grandmothers as well surrounding us, just witnessing and holding space for us. And I see one has a feather. She's holding an eagle feather. She's standing to the left of me, and she has white hair. She kind of it reminds me of my grandmother, but I know it's not her. It's someone else. She has a braid in her hair. It's almost all white. And she's a little hunched over, but not really. And she's just silent and holding that space for us. We also have Thunderbird coming in. We have a lot of power tonight. We have a lot of power here tonight. I see at least 1, 2, 3 Thunderbirds coming in to help us. So if there's anything you want to let go of, now's the time. If you're really, really, really done with it, you've processed it, you've worked with it, you've been present with it, and it needs to go, now's the time. Those Thunderbirds, there's one that's going to take it. The other 2 seem to be kind of holding space for us too. And breathing out anything that is going. And just knowing that as you breathe out, that is exactly what's happening without even trying. And just feeling the buoyancy again. They're saying to me again, uplift, 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 uplift. And all of that shit that was in the chat, that we had in our minds, that we had maybe in our hearts or in our energy fields, just see that dissolving. Just dissolving easily. And I'm feeling like we're almost completed with this, and I'm still going to ask, but I always will ask one more time, if anyone wants to show themselves, and I feel like there's something missing still. I know there's something before we wrap up this piece. that grandmother just kind of smiles, and I see her creases in her eyes, and she's like, aha, you noticed. So just breathing here. And then she points to a sacred fire in the middle of the circle, and I see the wood. And I see the fire needs a bit of tending. And a man comes from in front of me to come and tend to that fire. And that's what was missing, is that masculine energy. The fire and the fire keeper. He doesn't want, he's not talking to me. He is just here to tend the fire, so that we can do our work as women. So just breathing here. And what I'm doing here too is just going to smooth out all of our energy fields a little bit. So if there's a little bit of holes or gaps or anything like that, we're going to catch a few of those. And just smooth things out. Make things feel a little safer, a little more grounded, more whole. They're asking me to sing again, so I'm going to sing a little more. So just breathing. Just imagine that pink light filling you up, and it's what I'm seeing is it's like steam coming off all of us. Just steam, and I'm being told that's exactly what is happening. So some of you might feel a little bit of sweating going on, or you might not, but there is steam that is coming out of either just your mouth and your nose, or it's coming out off of your skin, out of your pores, releasing what you don't need, but also releasing love into the atmosphere. Because we have an overflow of love right now. So, just feeling your feet below you and wiggling your fingers and your toes a little, just to remind you you're in this human body that you belong to right now. That you're here on Mother Earth, in your sacred space, whatever that may be for you, as well as being here in spirit. And that you're present here, whether listening live or later. And the next big breath you take in, just imagine you're breathing out any excess stuff that's just hanging around that is really, really ready to go. And you don't want it hanging out in your energy field, so you're just going to have a nice big breath to blow it right out of your energy field. Just blow it right out. So we'll do that breath now. And then you can shake it off if you want, or just gently start moving your body. And what I like to do is give myself a big heart hug and feel the sensations of your hands on your body. bringing you back into your body. And only when you feel ready, opening your eyes slowly, gently, and just allowing yourself to be here, here in your space, here in our sacred virtual space. And just here with us in this circle. Even if you're watching this as a replay, you're going to feel the energy of the other people in the circle. And just make sure you're drinking lots of water after this. I'm going to say, I'm going to turn down the reverb just a little bit for now. Just easy with yourself. And I when I do these sessions for private clients, I always will say at least 4 days to have extra water, because water not only is our life, right? It literally, water is life, but it helps us to move energy. It helps us to flow energy. And anytime you're having healing sessions done for you, or if you're a healer and you're doing that for other people, you're going to notice you're extra thirsty. Honor that. Have that extra water. You're filling yourself up with more life when you do that. So I'm going to take a sip of water here. And I know this is like our Women's emPOWER more than an hour at this point. But that's the way it goes. So I'm going to just share a little bit more about the program and if you have questions, feel free to pop them in the chat too. Actually, I'm going to my brain can't remember how to do things right now on my computer because I just set it up today. But there we go. So I can see the chat here. Yeah. So if there's any questions, then I'll be able to get to them. So I wanted to share a little bit about the Picking Up the Pieces program again. What I can promise you, because it's for the season. Initially I started it out, it was a whole year program, and then Spirit was telling me, okay, open it up for seasons. Because it is season, it's based on the seasons. It's also like we meet for the new and full moons. And that is because during this isolation and weird time, like it's been very disorienting, and we need to be able to connect to nature somehow. Even if, like for me, I wasn't even able to go out for a long time, hardly at all. So, be able to connect to nature and her cycles, because that's what this is. This is all part of her cycles. Even this virus, it's all part of her cycles. So for us to just be able to be with that. And so what we do, like over the spring season, what you're going to learn how to do is grow and tap into your resilience and be present for conflicting emotions like we're doing, right? Like just being present with whatever's showing up. And being grounded in the middle of the chaos, which is something that like I was saying, that's that big tip to you. I want you to remember that, like ground into your body. You can do that. You're a tree too. We are like trees, and we can ground ourselves within ourselves. And that is a really powerful thing to do, because then when you're walking room to room, well, you're not doing that so much these days, but when you're even like walking from Zoom to room, people will feel that from you in your energy, that you're grounded. And it feels good to be around people who are grounded, because there's a lot of flighty energy right now. So, yeah, you'll be able to be present with that stuff and be grounded. And we retrain our brains through working with the music and our bodies. That's what we're doing for more resilience, and also to reawaken and to kind of expand our awareness of ourselves and who we're becoming. And we are all also like speaking and taking action from the heart. That's something that comes out of this just naturally, and will help you to kind of feel validated from the inside, because what we see outside is, it's crazy. Like there's just a lot of craziness, and you don't know what to believe and who's telling the truth and who isn't. And, you have to read between the lines and everything. And, this will help you to do that, because when you're in a grounded place and you're connected to yourself and to spirit and to other powerful women who are going through the same thing, that's what happens. And you'll be able to create and supercharge your own spiritual practices. And you'll know when it's time to get support, because I'm just always kind of talking about things that lead you to that. And that's because I had to do it myself. Sometimes we can do things on our own. Sometimes we need to get help, right? So included with it is, I already said there's 3 live new moon classes new moon sessions like this, like what we just did, and 3 also full moon experiential classes. So that means we're doing the stuff. I'm not just blah, 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 teaching stuff to you and that's it. Like, that's not what I do. We're dancing, we're meditating, we're doing, like, maybe we're singing the songs. Like, you get the music and you get the ebook that gives you the lyrics and the teachings for the songs so that you can sing along. And it depends on what spirit calls for that, for each song. Every class is based on a song. One of the 13 songs from that album. And what is our next one? I think it's actually Picking Up the Pieces, isn't it? I think it is. Yeah. Our next class is the title track. It's Picking Up the Pieces. So, I'm doing live performances like I'm about to do in a minute. And we do live activities because that's what it takes. Like for me, I'm all about embodiment, putting it into your body, getting it into your body memory so that you're just walking around and you don't have to think about it and it just becomes part of you. Like it's a habit, or you just know, oh yeah, I'm not breathing that well right now. I better okay, let's take a few deep breaths, or, oh, I'm feeling that anxiety come up right now. What can I do about that? Like just noticing and becoming more aware of yourself. It's powerful to do that. Yeah. So I wasn't always like that, that's for sure. So we're doing that, and there are some bonuses and stuff like that, but I know we're running over time and I don't want to go into everything, but I will say that we do have, because World Water Day and March Spring Equinox kind of fall around the same time, we're doing a bonus class for you, for everyone in the program. Because I love teaching about water and I haven't really been able, that's not part of the program, but it is now. So I'm going to offer some spiritual water teachings and also celebrate spring equinox because it's important. So we're doing that. And then there's also like a sacred self-care kit creation video. The people that were in the program since the fall, they have already got access to that. But you'll get access to that as well. And if you register by March 12th, it's $100. That's where you get the $25 savings. If you register after that, it'll be $125 if there's any spots left. And I don't know what's going on with that right now. Too many windows open. Okay. So I'm going to sing for you in a second. And I'm really excited to do that. Because this song, Together We Can Stand Up, I kind of sang it publicly, but I haven't really, because long story short, it was just on an Instagram live where the audio quality is just not so great. Like Instagram kind of sucks for doing that. And I can't plug in like I can with this. So I get to give you like everybody else's vocals are in there, and you get to hear the whole song, how it is, and I'll sing it live myself, my parts. And I'm going to say this single came, I don't even remember when I started. Oh yeah, July 2020 is when I started writing, where it came to me. And then it sort of came in pieces, and I was like, oh, I have to do this song, right? And I got in touch with my producer, and he's like, oh yeah, that sounds great, and let's do it. And so I started, it costs a lot of money to produce these things. It was like it's $3,500 or something to do it. And we got it done, and then we released it January 28th. January 31st was the death anniversary of my son, and I wanted to, every year I do something to honor Quinn. Every single year I do something to honor him in his memory, and this was that thing, was creating this beautiful song. And we also have, some of you may know Colette Barron-Reed. She's one of our background vocalists, which is pretty awesome. She's a Hay House author and has a gazillion oracle decks, and but she's also a singer, right? She's a recording artist as well. So I'm gonna take a sip of water here, and you'll hear all the voices and everyone in there, except for me, because I'll be doing that live. So. feel free to dance. And you know what? Like, and if you feel anything that sort of needs to fall out of your body still, give it a shake, shake it out, move it out. So I'm going to get it all ready here for you. And then I'm going to sing this song for you. Are you ready? That's so weird not having an audience. Are you ready? How are you feeling tonight? Like nobody's there. Just say anything. Anyways, here we go. This is Together We Can Stand Up, except I'll be sitting, but yeah, because then you won't see me. Together we can stand up, whoa, create a better future. Together we can stand up, whoa, stand up for each other. We keep hearing how we're all in this together. We need to love ourselves and care about each other. Discrimination is how we tear each other down. We are all relations together on sacred ground. We can all be free if only we remember who we are and who we can be. We're powerful together. Together we can stand up, whoa, create a better future. Together we can stand up, whoa, stand up for each other.
Even though we're not the same, we all have our gifts to share. So reach for higher ground, let your spirit take you there, yeah.
Like a nightmare, it's time to shake ourselves awake. Let's lift each other higher and gather in the eye of the storm. We can all be free if only we remember who we are and who we can be. We're powerful together. Together we can stand up, whoa, create a better future. Together we can stand up, whoa, stand up for each other. Together we can stand up, whoa, create a better future. Together we can stand up, whoa, stand up for each other. Oh, 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 oh. Hey, 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 hey. You know,
Life is here for you. Remember you're a blessing.
yes, you are.
Do what lights you up. It's how we get to freedom. Yeah.
Let's take a new direction, emerging from the sacred prayer.
Elstar Francis. We're powerful together. Together we can stand up, whoa, create a better future. Together we can stand up, whoa, stand up for each other. Together we can stand up, whoa, create a better future. Together we can stand up, whoa, stand up for each other. Together we can stand up. Yeah. Thank you. So I want to say thank you. Thank you for coming and enjoying International Women's Day with me. And those of you in Zoom, of course, it's not over because we have the after party now. So I don't even know what I'm just going to have fun with that. So we're going to have fun. I will take questions. So if people have questions, that's cool. I will answer them. Questions about the single, about anything. So I wanted to say the program starts on March 26th, but the bonus call is March 22nd. So you want to get in before the 22nd, but before the 12th, because then you save that $25 too. And yeah, so if you're wondering about class times and stuff, they're mostly, I think, in the evenings right now. And that kind of serves me where my new location here too, because there's construction during the day on some days. And at the same time, we vary the times so that just in case there's people in different time zones, I try to be as accommodating as I can. So yeah, so if you want to, thank you so much. I'm just seeing lots of love in the chat. Thank you, thank you. I know I miss hugs too. Oh my gosh, I'm seeing that all over here. Yeah. So I know all we have is virtual hugs right now for a lot of us, and but I have my daughter now. She's closer because she lives here, so I can go and get hugs from her, thankfully. But yeah, the link is in the chat, and I'll put it in our chat here in Zoom again for you for the program. And yeah, and I'm gonna end this in a second, but I want to say Chimigwich, thank you for coming. You show up for yourself. You're showing up for all of us women. When we come here here home to ourselves, right? To our hearts. When we do that, and when we do that in circle with other women, is freaking powerful, right? We're making a huge difference just by taking care of ourselves, being here in this circle together. So thank you for that. And I look forward to whoever joins the circle to have many, many more circles with you. And I know some of you are already in my circle who are here, so that's good too. Yes, awesome. So I'm ending the live stream. So I'm going to say Chimigwich and Bamapi, which is see you later in Ojibwe. There we go.